Welcome to day 4 of our 100K signature series. Now, if you've been listening up until now, I'm so excited to share with you 2 other options that are a little bit different over the next 2 days. If you're just joining us for the first time, head on over to day 1. They're not super long episodes, but day 1 gives you the rundown of exactly how this works. And then we're going to walk you through in day 2. And every day, depending on like what offers you want to promote is still valuable. Even if you're like, no, I could never do a $2,997 mastermind, I've actually packed so much value in the way that I'm explaining offers and sales and launches and things like that. So it's definitely worth listening to all 5 days of this series. It's also 100% worth putting your name down on the waitlist for the Peace and Profit Mastermind. This is where I will work with you personally over 6 months to craft, create, and scale your hero signature program, your launches, your KPIs, review your sales page, your webinars, everything to help it convert at a really high level. And if you want the most epic bonuses, early bird invitation, because we may not make it even to public launch, then put your name down on the wait list. Look at the show notes below. You're going to see the link to be able to put your name down, and there's absolutely no obligation if you do that. The other thing is if you want to see visually how today's offer works, and today's offer probably in terms of mathing and working out the revenues, possibly the most complex, then what you are going to want to do is comment on any one of my Instagram posts or send me a DM with the number 104, because it's 100K signature series and this is number 4 in the simulations, 104. Comment that. I'll send you a PDF that breaks down the table of exactly what benchmarks, intakes, numbers you're looking at. You can then see it visually. There's no opt-in. I'll just send you the PDF. Then comment that word. Now, today's funnel, like yesterday I spoke to, this is very similar to the funnel that I have now. Well, today's is very similar to the funnel that I had when I was a life coach. So if you have only just tuned in my past life, I have 2 degrees in marketing and communications. I've worked more than 20 years. I've worked with like multi-million-dollar budgets in every industry you can imagine. However, there was a brief period there when we were navigating infertility that I trained and became a life coach working with women with infertility. Huzzah, a few, bows in my hat? And because of the marketing skills I had, I built a thriving and successful multi-six-figure business in just 6 hours per week, more than 1 million downloads of that podcast. We're possibly up to like 1.5 million downloads now. This offer strategy is pretty much the offer strategy that I had in that business. So listen up. And this is for, as I just said, this was basically what I used when I had no hours to work in the day. I had a part-time job. I was juggling a million other balls. I had young children, and I still felt compelled to have this business, to grow it. Discovery is my core value. I felt, and I still feel, very passionately about women navigating these seasons of trying to conceive and it doesn't happen immediately, having support at an emotional, mental mindfulness level, metacognition level as well. But I only had 6 hours a week. So what I had was Fridays when I, magically still had my baby in daycare and my other child at school. So I only had school hours on a Friday and I had 6 hours with which not only to run this business, but to do things like the grocery shopping, all of the laundry in the house. My husband and I, if you didn't know, run another business. So all of the paperwork, admin for that business as well. So I needed a business at that time that pretty much had no one-to-one. I didn't have the capacity to have upgrade offers and premium deliveries. So now in my business, I don't have a part-time job. I have much more time for delivery. I have both children in full-time school. So if I really wanted to, I could probably work up to about 25 hours, 16 to 20 hours, and mostly take school holidays off. But I have so much more capacity to serve and support and to deliver. And I love in my business really strategizing at a deep level with my clients on their offer suites, improving conversions, supporting them through, how to elevate the conversions for their sales pages, etc. So I love that, and I have the capacity to do that. But I didn't when I was an infertility life coach. So if this is you, if you're like, I'm in a season where I just actually don't have the capacity to work that much, this is the type of offer strategy that I would recommend for you. Now, this can work whether you're in business to business or business to consumer, but this is the caveat to this that I really need to drill into you. If you're a mom in business and you're like, I only have 1 hour to spare on my business, but I still want to make $500,000 a year, I want you to check in with yourself at what is realistic and what isn't. Because I often will come across business owners who, and maybe this is because you are in the early stages and you don't know what's possible. As you can tell, I'm very much a pragmatist, but you have to just understand the trade-offs. So if you have less time to invest in your business, that might mean investing more money into either done-for-you services, into consulting, or into ads, right? And ads are, for women who are in my mastermind, we specialize in helping women who want to work part-time in their businesses and have very lean payroll expenses and want to still make multi-six figures, have the aspirations to still make, $250,000 to $500,000 per year in their business. The trade-off on that is that if that's what you want and you don't want payroll and you don't want to work full-time in your business, you're probably going to need to run ads of some sort. You are probably, whether they're YouTube ads or Pinterest ads or Facebook or Instagram ads, doesn't matter, but you need to, if you're not willing to have the output to generate the influx and input of leads, you don't have the time to have a higher ticket offer. Maybe you want to charge $30,000 per client. Sure, you only need a couple of clients per year, one client per quarter to reach six figures. So you don't need a huge number of leads for that. But if you're like, well, no, I don't want to have a higher ticket offer that has lots of delivery in it, but I want to generate a really great amount of revenue, there's got to be a trade-off. And one of the things I see, I think I mentioned this on day 2 as well, you need leads in your business. So many people put off lead generation. Oh, I didn't get round to it this time. Or, I've tried Facebook ads, but they didn't work. The hard truth is that you're going to need to learn and prioritize that. If you've tried Facebook ads and they haven't worked before, you gotta learn. And this is one of the reasons why people will join a container like the Peace and Profit Mastermind, because they're like, I'm done with consistently enrolling 4 people in every single launch that I do. I'm done with throwing shit at the wall with Facebook ads and feeling like I'm just throwing money down the toilet. So therefore you need to learn. One of the most impactful things that I ever did for my business before I was reaching $100,000 in my business was I said, do you know what? I'm never going to reach the numbers that I need to reach in my launches if I don't learn how to generate enough people in my launch leads cycle. And I dropped $10,000 on a Facebook ads coach for 4 months. So the difference is something like Peace and Profit. It's $5,500. It's $5,000 if you join us as a waitlister. But let's say that's $5,000. I'm with you for 6 months. I will go through the whole business, the whole funnel. I will strategize with you at the deepest level and every day for 6 months. I'll review your sales page. I'll review your webinar. If you are not getting enough leads into your business, stop and prioritize it, because you're not going to fix your business without fixing that. And I'm on a bit of a leads rampage at the moment, because it's the hard truth of business. So if you want a program that is $497, so this is what we have in today's lesson. It's a $497 online course. There's little or no one-to-one or even group coaching, but what you have is behind the scenes, like funnels that are going to increase your customer lifetime value. But you are going to have to, if you want that to work for you in part-time hours, number one, you're going to have to iterate several times because not that many people just nail it first time out the gates. But number two, you're going to need to be focused on the data. One of the things I also see in business owners, which is a serious red flag, you need to learn how to do it. You got to learn how to look at your numbers. You've even got to just track your numbers. You would be surprised the number of people who join the Peace and Profit Mastermind. They're at $50,000, $100,000 in their business. And they're like, not looking at their numbers. They feel angst when they're going through their accounting. They feel stressed about their expenses. They are really risk averse because they don't understand their numbers and their data. That's one of the only ways to grow. So one of the things we do is like help them normalize their numbers and understand their numbers and the magic and the secrets that contains within it. So you're going to need to be probably a little okay with your numbers and data. You're going to need to check, you're going to need to iterate and improve as you go. And ideally, a little bit tech savvy, or you've got an OBM or a VA who can help you with that. And you can maybe speak to a few different topics that are adjacent to each other. So not like radically different topics, but you've got like a few adjacent things in the wheelhouse. This can work for business to business or business to consumer. So let me walk you through this plan. And again, if you would like the breakdown of this plan, because it does get like a little bit numbers heavy, comment 104 on any of my Instagram posts or DM me and I'll send it through to you. It's just a PDF, no opt-in. So this is what you're going to do. Now, I always recommend selling online courses before you've created them for numbers of reasons. I'll include in the show notes below why you need to do this. But if you're trying to record all of your modules and then sell your program, it's not the best thing for neither you or your clients. So what you're going to do, launch off the gates this month, right now, pull out a launch. Now, ideally, you are going to have an email list of some sort. Now, you're also going to note in this plan, by the way, that I've accommodated for, like, even if you don't do that. So what you're going to do is pull out a launch right away for this product. It's going to be $497 and you want 30 sales of this program. So ideally you have an email list or an audience. If you don't, you work up to that. So $497 times 30 is nearly $15,000 revenue. This is where it gets interesting. Now you can add this on straight away or you can add it on as you go, but what you are going to have is a bump offer. A bump offer is, would you like fries with that? Or it's like checkout chocolates. You're at the cash register. They've got the chocolates right in front of your face as you are purchasing. It's like, hey, add on this great deal at the checkout. So a bump offer is that little button. So you will have seen it and you will have purchased a bump offer before, I'm certain. You will go to purchase something. At the checkout page, there's like this little square that you tick a box and add something onto the checkout. Ideally, this is like templatey, quick-winny kind of style, tools style. And the benchmark that you want for your bump offer is 40%. So with the bump offer that we have, the revenue you would be looking at for that is $1,164. Now, this is another illuminating fact that we usually pull out on this. In the scheme of things, where you would be focusing your energy is 100% on the main signature offer, making sure that's converting well, making sure you've got the leads into that, because $15,000 versus $1,000, you definitely want the extra $1,000, but actually the thing that is the biggest game changer is the intake into the signature program to start with. So when you start looking at like, oh, what do I create first? Where do I invest my energy? It's in the online course and the leads to get you into the core online course first, rather than the bump offer. But then what you're going to do is on the back end, build out. So even if you build out all of this back end stuff one by one, after a couple of months, or like you release one every 3 months, once you've optimized the other sections, you would be looking at, let's say, a $297 online course on the back end, and 15% of people from the core offer upgrade into that. The conversion rates for these back end offers are generally higher because statistics have shown something between, like, people are 65 to 75% more likely to purchase from you if they have purchased from you before. So if you have your initial signature offer, it's your $497 course, you do a really great job of moving people through that and getting them the result. They then trust you as an authority. They've had success with you. When you then pitch the next solution or a different but adjacent solution, they are so much more likely to take that up. So you might have another course on the back end, and I'll give you some examples in a moment, that is $297, and 15% of people take that up. You are then looking at $1,336 for that. You might also have another back end offer that you pitch at a different time or a little bit later that is also $497. Now you could go through, you could have a $997 offer or a $1,497 offer too. You could so scoop up revenue from that. And that would generate, if it was $497 at a 15% conversion, $2,235. So again, the takeaway is your number one priority is on the Signature Hero course for $497. But the takeaway is also that at some point you want these cross sells and upsells into these other products, because in doing that, you land the end of the month with nearly $20,000. So $15,000 as opposed to $20,000. As you scale and elevate and build your list, that gets more and more and more. But what would it look like if you are currently sitting at $100,000 in your business? Let's say, for shits and giggles, you're earning $100,000 per month, right? That is another $25,000 per month just from having these strategic upsells. So one of the things that you might look at within this is whether you have a signature program that is actually really broad, that is actually taking people way too long to get through, that is hard on delivery, takes a long time. The question is, could you break that up into one, the most valuable experience ever that's quick to get through? You can almost guarantee a win for that. Would that be better standing alone as a hero signature offer, something that you solidify your authority in? You become the expert on that. You talk about that till the cows come home on content. And then the rest of the offer becomes these cross sells where you talk about the different offers. Food for thought. So then what you are going to do, now I'm not going to walk through like literally every month because it's this cascading thing of like upgrades, etc. But what you would do potentially in this scenario, and this is what we did in our business, was we would then also run that through an evergreen funnel. Evergreen funnels are primarily something that you will promote on Facebook ads. And you will, convert that. You won't have a huge amount of revenue from that. So in this, let's say you make 8 sales per month because you have about 500 people through that evergreen funnel. You're only actually making like $4,000. You're not making a huge amount of revenue from that offer. But what you're doing is warming people up through that webinar so that when you go through the next live launch, they're actually so much more highly likely to convert because they've gone through that funnel twice, essentially. Once on an evergreen level, they consumed the conversion event, they were warmed up to your offer, they had problem solution awareness, maybe now wasn't the right time for them to join, but then the live launch comes along and they are ready to join. So it kind of like scoops up those extra leads and it improves everything all around when you have this mix of live launching and evergreen. You don't have to have both. You can have just one. You roll your way. But this is how you can really start to then elevate your next launches. And what you would do is have periodic live launches. You would run a live launch in October, and then you would run a Black Friday offer with a discount, like a flash promo style thing, again in November. So let me just explain some ideas of like how this would go and what I used to do. So I had my core program that was on fertility mindset. At one point, we had built out like an add-on for a pregnancy program. We had an add-on for meditations. At one point, we also had like a area for husbands, like how to get your husband on board, how to cope with your husband, all sorts of different things that we experimented over that time. But let's say you are a AI expert and you had a signature program that was $497, which was all about how to create your own GPTs that, create additional revenue in your business, for other people, that elevates the revenue in their business because they're adding on all of these tools into their business. So that's a signature program. It's like a little low lift course. Maybe it's a 4-week program on exactly how they can create the best GPTs. You're going to call it the AI GPT Ninja. So then what you might have is a bump offer that is Ninja AI integrations to help you save 10 plus hours on business admin. So this is like just a simple kind of cheat sheet type offer. It's not creating a custom GPT through ChatGPT, but it is something that this audience who clearly would like because they want to save time, they want to learn new technologies, or you could have like a click and deploy AI assistance pack. All of the different like AI assistants that you could have, or like just for people who don't want to just sit and learn, here, I've got some ready-made ones for you. You might then have another product in your product suite that is an AI life upgrade. So it might be, I've just told you how to increase the revenue from your coaching programs by learning how to create custom GPTs for your clients. Now I'm going to share with you exactly how you can upgrade your personal life with AI. Maybe you have a little program that's productivity powerhouse. All of these ways that you can save time through, maybe it's like Pomodoro technique, time batching, task batching, all of these things, or how to do that. Maybe you also have a program that's called AI Course Creation Ninja. So it's not the same as how to create your own GPTs, but it's all of these adjacent topics that would be highly desirable to that audience. So again, what you are looking for is, number one, being marketing heavy. And especially if you're working part-time, you need enough leads into this funnel. You can have an evergreen funnel with a lot of like upgrades and bumps on the back end. It's the exact funnel that I used to have, like I said, or not the exact, but very similar funnel to what I used to have in my life coaching days when I wanted a course that didn't require a lot of delivery time. All I had in that season was I had one full moon call per month, which I later upgraded to 2, like a new moon and a full moon. I had just lifetime access to the program because I didn't want to have all of this complication around removing access. So they could just join for $497 and stay forever for the rest of their days. And that was what I offered. But then I had these upsells and upgrades on the back end from time to time. But I focused the majority of my energy on live launching this program. But we also had it run on an evergreen funnel with the full price being $697. That if they purchased on the evergreen webinar, it was $497. So great for if you are a little bit tech savvy, but low on time and you are happy to iterate, play with the numbers, keep iterating and optimizing, and obviously not scared of marketing or content in your business. So that is day 4. Make sure you listen to the full 5-day series because within each day I have little nuggets of conversions, strategies and tips and offer tips and things like that. So comment 104 if you are not on the waitlist for Peace and Profit. Seriously, it's worth your while to do so. You just have to put your name down. There is no obligation at all, but you will have access if you decide you do wish to apply to join us and then go on to join us in the Peace and Profit Mastermind. Thank you, and I will speak to you tomorrow for the last day in our 5-day 100K signature series.